Hey everybody, Stu Smith here. I hope you are well. This is a makeup day from New Year's Day that we missed. I thought I would add in another live Q&A along with a um, CSS critique show, as well as to let you guys know I wrote an article yesterday because somebody asked a good enough question that required some extra thought and some extra explaining. And um, I have to give credit to Tristan. He's not here right now, doesn't look like, but um, yeah, you asked the question yesterday, what is a realistic time to drop off a 3 mile run and a 1,500 meter swim for the Air Force Special Warfare CRO test? I want to set a reasonable goal increments for my upcoming training block. I'm currently able to finish both, just too slowly. Um, yeah, my advice was this. All right. Instead of making a weekly performance goal, check yourself and make a weekly consistency goal. So that means you are running and swimming 4 or 5 days a week. You're getting in your calisthenics, your lifts, whatever you're trying to work on, and you're just consistent at the end of the week. At the end of the week, maybe you've accumulated a set goal of 10 hours or 11 hours or more of training focused on your goals of becoming a better candidate for Air Force Special Warfare. So that's how you do weekly goals because let's face it, chances are you're not going to see huge weekly performance increases, right? I mean, even if you're trying to lose weight, you might lose a pound or two max. Um, so don't look at it as a performance increase or a goal every week. Look at it as pure consistency. Then you have a bi-monthly goal, which means twice a month, or you can do it once a month of actual performance gains. Now, the way I would break it up is you're going to be doing a lot of 3 mile run and 1,500 meter training. So it's a little bit different than the mile and a half and a 500 meter training because you just need more volume and you need to get in better conditioning to handle that distance at that certain pace. So, my advice would be to start focusing on your mile and a half and 500s being at a certain goal pace. Now, let's say you're trying to get an 18-minute, just off the top of my head, you're trying to get an 18-minute 3 mile, which is a 6-minute mile. It's a 9-minute mile and a half. So that's your split point. And let's start there. That means all your quarter miles are going to be 130. Your half miles are going to be 3 minutes. Your miles at 6 minutes. And then let's try to string together a whole bunch of those to see where you can, how long you can take it. Right. So this takes weeks to months to actually progress logically with it. Yeah, I don't see Tristan yet. Tristan asked this one. No volume on Facebook. Huh. That's weird. Some people are still seeing it. Yeah, Joseph used the SMART acronym for goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time oriented. Yep. SMART acronym works too. But anyway, you're going to want to work on what you're currently capable of doing your set pace at, right? And then from there, you just back it down and try to extend that week after week after week. 500s, I'm a big believer at trying to get everybody at the yard or meter per second in swimming. So if you want to do the math on that, that's like, let's say an 830 for easy math. For a 500, we'll say 9 minutes since you're in meters. It's going to be a little bit off compared to what I normally do it in yards. So we'll say 9 minute for a 500. That's a 27 minute for a 1,500. So that's the kind of goals I would set for myself in that, and then just strive to reach those with sets of hundreds, sets of 200s. 300 is a really good drill because that's going to be helping you flirt with like a yard per second, a meter per second. So a 5 minute swim, you know, if you can get that at the, a yard pool, in 5 minutes, a 5 minute swim for 300 yards, that's a yard per second, 300 yards, 300 seconds. That's just a good pace to go. You just see how far you can swim in 5 minutes and then boost that out to 10 minutes, boost that out to 15 minutes. Next thing you know, you're able to maintain that pace for 25 minutes and you're almost there. So anyway, it's a good little article. I put a link into the comment section over here and you guys can definitely check that out. It does look like my audio is working. I'm not sure what's wrong with Facebook, but you can definitely, hear us on YouTube. So sorry about that. It's working from my end. I'm not sure what's wrong with the Facebook end. But anyway, you can see that article in greater detail, pacing the run and swim, defining goal pace, and then just concluding with weekly consistency is really kind of the key that I was going for in that question because it's hard to track gains on a weekly schedule. So, all right. Hey, Stu, is that push up program to increase the push ups in odd days? You say that we should achieve a specific number in a few sets as possible. How much should we rest in between these sets? If you read the article, it'll explain it in greater detail. It doesn't really matter, but you don't necessarily want to max out every day. One day can be kind of spread throughout the day with sub max effort, but the other day can be maxed out in as few sets as possible. My advice would be to make it your normal upper body workout day where you're just maxing out and you rest with other exercises. So you're doing pull-ups and running, and you could do it in between swim laps even. So if you read this article, it will explain it. It's not a workout to be done just by itself. It is a supplemental workout to what you're already doing. All right. So make sure on days that you do push-ups, you may not have to add any more push-ups according to that 10-day protocol. Maybe enough, right? But on days where you don't do push-ups, that's when you have to add 5 times your current max to that day of not pushing or pulling for that matter. But rest is kind of up to you. So yeah, if you guys haven't heard of the SMART acronym, SMART, specific goals, measurable goals, achievable goals, realistic goals, and time oriented. So when you say what's a good weekly goal, I say just doing something is a great weekly goal, daily goal. You can have daily goals too. Hell, I try to have hourly goals. So I have a timer over here on my desk where I set it because I sit, for a good part of my day typing or working on computer stuff. So every hour I will get up and either set my desk to the standing level or get up, walk around, run some stairs, stretch out a little bit. Otherwise, it is real easy to get tight. If I sit here from 8 a.m. to noon, it's hips get stiff, especially after a leg day. It's just not pretty. So you can set goals for however you want, but just know that most of them, if for a really shorter amount of time, being more geared towards being consistent is the better option versus trying to say, I'm going to try to run a minute faster at the end of this week. You can try it, just may not be realistic. All right, so let's show some folks some CSS stuff. All right, I got a few down on here. See what we got. All right, so share my screen. Got a swimmer doing this. Let's see what we got here. Let's see how he kicks off. So kickoff is a little awkward. See how he's already sideways? Just kick off on your belly. And then on your first stroke, you turn to your side. I don't think this is as streamlined as you could be. So top arm, bottom arm, kick. Here's the one thing I'm having problems with this one. Top arm, bottom arm. Notice the pause in between the top arm and bottom arm. Like boom. Like there's a pause right here. Right? So he's got a little pause between the top arm and the bottom arm, which is fine. But this pause here, he should already be kicking or at least opening his legs to kick when that bottom arm is down. And then, it's just like he's trying to almost glide in this position here, which you can tell he doesn't. So he needs to speed that up. And this is very nitpicky. This is like a half a second issue going on here. So you'll see it better on this side. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. So I've been yelling at him about it, and he's trying. This looks a whole lot better actually from this angle. I can see he's actually moving. I think the biggest problem is he just has a really big bottom arm pull, which kind of delays the kick and recovery just a split second. So a lot of this is timing issues. Now, if you notice, overall, he's got the top arm, bottom arm, kick. He's got a good side stroke down, but I'm just being a little nitpicky with a couple of things. He previously had his head popping up out of the water for every breath. He was doing a breaststroke kick, which was really ineffective. We changed the scissor kick, much more effective. So we got to find some things that work for him. And this is just part of that process of let's kick off on your belly, turn to breathe with that top arm, breathe with the bottom arm, kick and glide. So I'll show another one here in a minute of someone else that is swimming with us this week. I'll share this one here in a few seconds, but it looks like we got another question. I'm a state police officer trying to join the Coast Guard, power lifter. That's all I know. You know what? I was one of those powerlifting football players trying to figure all this tactical fitness out, and it was challenging. So, as a police officer, active duty, it's probably don't need to run that much. Obviously, you just lift and be strong and be a formidable force out there, which is very helpful. I think big police officers, are a force for good. Um, and however, you do need to work on your cardio as well, especially if you're trying to go on the Coast Guard. And there is some swimming, obviously, that will be part of your training. It does depend on what you are trying to do in the Coast Guard. You will have a typical test of very similar to the Navy: push-ups, plank, mile and a half run. There is a 10-minute, no, or 12-minute swim test for some jobs in the Coast Guard where you have to swim a certain distance in 12 minutes. So, depending on what those are, given that you're a police officer, you may want to do some of those security force type programs, which does require that swim for most of them. But it really kind of depends. But for right now, it's calisthenics and cardio. If you're a power lifter, you're already strong enough to be in the Coast Guard. There's no weight room training you need to do to prepare for the Coast Guard. It's going to be calisthenics and cardio. In fact, I don't think I have a copy of it, but I would seriously go with calisthenics and cardio program. In fact, I'll put a link to it in the comment section for you. Oops. some reason I'm on my admin page here. Geez, where'd it go? All right, I'll find it. Oh, here we go. I do have about 40 books, so sometimes I have to remember which section I put the calisthenics book in. But yeah, check out this link, calisthenics and cardio. I would go with this. It has a beginner, intermediate, advanced program to it. Really, it's all you need. Also has swimming in there too. So if you are going to be taking over one of those, security forces jobs where you board ships and do cool stuff like that, um, I would definitely practice swimming too. Let's see. Going to start this push-up protocol that you give. Actually, push-ups is the exercise that seems no progression to me. Stuck at 25. Yeah, if you're stuck at 25, my advice is multiply that number by 4 or 5, somewhere in that range between 100 125, and that's what you do every day for 10 days straight. Then you take 3 days off and you rest on day 14. It's in the link that I sent up there. 2-week protocol for pull-ups and push-ups. Even I have sit-ups in there too. See what it does. At worst, you're gonna practice push-ups every day for 10 days. It's free advice. I've seen people double their push-ups at your level. So if you're at 25, I've seen people get 50 in 2 weeks. Now, if you're at 50, I've seen people increase by 50%, get up to 75. Now, I don't recommend it if you're 70 or 80 because that's going to be like 400 push-ups a day, 350, 400 push-ups a day, which that's hard to see improvements in that long, but you may. My advice would be instead of that one, if you're stuck in the 70s and 80s, my advice would be to do the max rep set workout once a week for like 5 6 weeks, and um you'll see improvement there. In fact, there's 3 workouts you do in that week. One's a pyramid, one's a superset, one's a max rep set, and I'll put the link to it right here. If you do these 3 workouts in a week, focusing on as few sets as possible to get, say, 200 push-ups, that is going to put you over the top on that, 70 going into 80, 80 going into 90, maybe 90 going into 100. So if you're stuck at a plateau, you're tired of being at 75 push-ups, try the 3 times a week workout. Daily push-ups, chances are at that volume aren't going to be as helpful as daily push-ups at the lower maximum where you are now at 25. Yeah, I'm trying to improve it based on max reps till failure, but I think that's burning me out. Yeah, it's very possible. There's really 3 ways to do it. There's max reps, just burn it till you can't do anymore, and then even do more on your knees just to top it off. There's stop at a certain time, whether you're fatigued or not. And then there's pace, and just pace it out. Like you're going to try to get 40 in 30 seconds, right? Or not for you, but let's say you're trying to get 20 in 20 seconds. That's a good little challenge. Most people can do a push up per second. Some people can do even push ups faster than a push up per second. In fact, I would try to get around 35 or 40 in 30 seconds. Then I'd be at like 70 in 1 minute. And then I would just go for a solid minute, crank it out as many times as I can, 70, 75 in that minute. Then just do sets of 5 for the second minute. Now for our test, we had to do 2-minute test, not a 1-minute test. But yeah, there's no reason why you can't get good at 1 minute nonstop push-ups. It's just going to take a little bit of time doing those 3 workouts: pyramids, supersets, and max rep sets. All right, let's see. Looks like I've got some more questions here. I'll answer another question, then we'll go. Um, If I then we'll go show another video. In fact, I got an underwater one queued up here. If I struggle with body weight bench, should I work on 5x5s? I can do endless push-ups, but getting past 85% with just push-ups isn't working. Well, that's a different workout, but yes, I mean body weight bench is a combination of strength, which that 5x5 will definitely help you with strength. Put it this way, if you can't do your body weight for 5, then absolutely drop the weight, do a 5x5, get stronger to where you can get your body weight for a 5x5. That's a good start. Then um maybe another workout a week later or later in the week, you try a body weight for max reps. See if you can get more than 5. See if you can get 10. Um, that's the way I would try that. But you got to understand the body weight bench max reps is a combo between strength and muscle stamina, right? That is one of those things that's just hard to do if you're heavy, and it's not hard to do if you're lighter. Right? We had a dude do 40 body weight bench presses, but he weighed like 160. Right? We had another guy who was 210, did 25. That's really good. Pound for pound, though, 40, whew, 40 body weight bench was pretty legit. I would say my gold standard for body weight bench is double digits, 15 to 20. If you can get over 20, you're beyond gold standard. You're like platinum level. But as long as you can get double digits, you're pretty solid. All right, this is a tough question. I'm not sure on this one. How many 4 count flutter kicks would you say is equivalent to one sit up? I don't know. Um, I will say this. It depends on what number you're on, because the first 25 4 count flutter kicks, not that hard, right? But the next 25 start to get harder. So, um, so I guess same for sit-ups. The first 25 sit-ups are not that hard. Next 25 require a little more effort. Um, but I've never really thought about an equivalent to that. My advice would just be make it a time event. So 2 minutes of flutter kicks equals 2 minutes of sit-ups. That's a complete guess because I've never thought about it in 40 years of working out. Have you ever heard of Deep End Fitness? Yeah, I think it's great. I love swimming. I love running with kettlebells and dumbbells on the pool, doing underwater stuff. It's something I enjoy doing. I just don't film it. Been doing it for 20 years. Not that I'm knocking them for filming it. It's just I tend to stay in my lane and tend to focus on other stuff. We got another question here. Have you ever dealt with tendonitis or inflammation due to training? Is this a common injury in the military? Absolutely. It's about as common as acronyms in the military. In fact, the acronym ITB, iliotibial band syndrome, also stands for I tried buds, because a lot of people get ITB at buds, and either we're able to conquer it or we're not able to conquer it. All right, let's underwater swimming. Let's volume down. All right, so let me show you this underwater. There's a few things I don't like about this underwater swim, so I'm critiquing it more than saying, "Hey, do this." And I'm going to show you what that is. So right now, so far so good. He's got a good glide, good kick off the wall, and you got to do that. Double arm pulls okay, but I'm not a fan of kicking and pulling at the same time. And if you notice, that's what he's doing. He's got a little awkward scissor kick, and he's doing a double arm pull with that scissor kick. So he's mixing 2 units of propulsion at the same time and gliding with his head sticking straight up with no hands over his head. So he's not very streamlined when he's gliding in this position here, right? Gliding in this position here is uh, doesn't look very torpedo-ish, right? And your goal when you're swimming underwater is to look like a torpedo. What that means is you got to do this, right? So I'm going to just stop sharing because he's pulling and kicking at the same time. The timing of underwater swimming is double arm pull, hold that glide, and don't hold it like you're looking like straight in front of you. Keep your chin tucked. Chin tucked like this because that is putting on the brakes in swimming, right? Keep your chin tucked, arms by your side, feet still. Then you kick and recover, right? Good tight streamline, hold that glide. So you pull glide, kick glide. There's 2 glides per stroke. And he's doing one awkward plowing glide. In fact, we'll call it plowing, not gliding, because he's just got his head up, looking forward. Arms aren't streamlined. Because tell me what looks more streamlined, this or this? Look like a torpedo, buddy. Look like a torpedo. So that's how you swim underwater better. And if you do it really well, there's no reason why you can't pull glide, kick glide 4, maybe 5 times minimum or maximum to get across the pool. So that's when you know your stroke is working, when you can do 25 yards with a kickoff in 4 to 5 strokes. I've seen guys do 3 because they're just super streamlined. But if you're not streamlined, this event sucks. All right, let me show another one here since. All right, so change over here, share screen. Boom, here we go. So, all right, you guys should be able to see this. Kicking off the wall. Notice what he's doing. All right, look at that. Does that look streamlined to you? I will say this, though. At least he's got his hands over in front of him. All right, so that right there is he's side by side with his head up, right? Right here, right? That is not streamlined. Keep your hand keep one hand on top of the other. Keep your head down, biceps on your ears. That is streamlined. Okay. So we got to fix that. Just kicking off the wall every time. Top arm, bottom arm. Kick and glide. All right. So it looks like he's got a little breaststroke kick going. All right. Timing's all jacked up. So top arm, bottom arm. All right. Now he's got a scissor kick going. I think the scissor kick's going to be better than his breaststroke kick. But if you notice, he's going top arm, bottom arm, kick, always looking forward, never looking down. So he's plowing the water with his head. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, top arm, bottom arm, kick. There's no real glide here. Like watch, see, kick, hold the glide. Top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. Come on. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. So he's pulling like 2 seconds too soon. And notice what's he got it right here. Whole bunch of little flutter kicks too that probably can go. All right, so that was this guy's first one. Let me see if I can find his second one. Let me see if I find a better one for him. Where'd it go? All right. No, that's not it. That's not it. All right. I think this might be it. We will see. All right. Why can't I? All right. Here we go. Okay. So you guys see this? All right. So now we're at it. Let's see what he looks like now. A little better. Top arm, bottom arm. Let's see what that glide looks like. Do you have his head down? Yeah. So okay. So this is a little bit later in the session where he started off with his head up, hands still aren't super close together, but they're not on top of each other, but at least they're closer together. All right. So this looks a little smoother. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Yeah, like this. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Better. A lot better. Still a little short on the glide. Got to work on this turnaround though. That turnaround is, man, that add a minute to your 500-yard swim. You do that every wall. So that turnaround needs to be a little tighter. The streamline here needs to be a little tighter. One hand on top of the other, lock it out. Biceps on your ears, top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. Let's see how long he's holding. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull, popping his head up just a little bit. Bottom ear still in the water, though. I like it. All right. Overall, though, that was like a 50, like 54. So we're looking at like a 9 now. This was a first day swimmer with us, too. So, um, just picking it up. So he did pretty good so far. What do you think gives you better energy during your workout? Sodium and potassium or sugar? Well, sugar is your energy source. Sodium and potassium are your electrolytes that will allow water to enter your cells better and keep you hydrated and keep your muscles talking to each other. That's what you Google what electrolytes do, and you'll see what sodium and potassium do. Really don't have much to do with your energy. It has a lot to do with sugar, has a lot to do with your energy, and it doesn't need to be like crap table sugar. I'm talking about fruit. Um, even if you really wanted, if you're in a pinch for something to give you a little bit of juice prior to the run at the end of a PST, something that works for me is you know, Gatorade. It's something simple. Or I can do apple juice. That doesn't make me sick to my stomach. Um, so fruit, um, piece of gum, with sugar in it. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do. I have found that bananas are really good for me. Got a little electrolytes in them as well. Um, Sometimes I'll go with some kind of sugary, not a sports drink with caffeine. So I lay off the caffeine during these type of tests and workouts just because it jacks my heart rate up too much. So I like to keep my heart rate down. Um, but I like the sugar for the energy because if you're going hard, you're going to be burning blood sugar and glycogen in your body. And if you don't have any, you're going to bonk. So think about that one. All right. Let's see. I think I got one more swim we can watch. I don't know if I showed you guys this one. Did I show you guys this one the other day? This is just something we do on mobility days. Um, this is so we'll do a drown proof session right after mobility work. One of the drown proof sessions is you just kick, dolphin kick to get across the pool. Hands are simulated tied behind your back, and you just dolphin kick to get across the pool. So this at Bud, you got to do 100 meters of this as part of the drown proof test. The other part of the drown proof test is bobbing, floating, front flips, back flips. You got this travel for 100, and then you have um, pick up your mask with your teeth and bob a couple times with it, and then you're done. But the bobbing and the floating, it's about 5 minutes each. You'll bob and float for 5 minutes, and you'll travel. Then you'll do a front flip whenever the instructor says front flip. Then you do a back flip when the instructor says back flip, and then you'll pick up your mask and you're done. But it's good to practice this one. We like to practice it after mobility day just because our shoulders are looser, our hips are looser, knees, hips, and ankles a little bit more mobile. Makes this process a little bit easier. All right, let's see. Do I have another one in here? I think I showed that one yesterday or Tuesday. I showed that one. Yeah, I think I've showed all my swims today. Now, if you're looking for a massive amount of swim critiques so you can compare, something I do recommend doing for people is getting a video of yourself swimming. Just have somebody walk alongside the pool. Then you have something to compare somebody who's killing it, right? And like for instance, I'm going to share this with you, um, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we have top arm, bottom arm, kick, and you can find a whole bunch of these really good CSSs, as well as crappy CSSs that need help. And you might find, somebody's pull is like yours, or your kick sucks, and you'll see what I do to fix someone's kick. But this is a really good one. He's got a good pull out with it, and he transitions nicely. Notice how his glide is like every glide is one hand on top of the other. You can't see his ears, his head's down. He's just gliding smoothly, and that's what helps this guy get. Let me see what he gets here. Looks like it's like a 48. Yeah. Yeah, he's sub 40. I know he swims in the sevens, so this guy's really good. And this is just all on my TikTok page, you know. You got to check these out. There's a ton of them here. So, CSS fixes. This is me swimming. It's one of the pinned videos up there so you can see how I do it, you know. So, top arm is like transition, top arm, bottom arm, kick, hold the glide. Every now and then I look up, which I know I ping people on. It's one of my little habits of as I'm pulling that arm, it's kind of a rotation like this versus just turning to the left or right. Just something I'm working on. So top arm, turn and breathe. Bottom arm, kick and glide. Pull, breathe, kick and glide. That's the stroke. And you want to glide for 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Pull. There you go. Easy day. So if you're looking for it, check it out. This is one about the pull out or not. All right. So you notice he has a pull out here. No big deal. Right. Let's see what his pull out looks like on the other side. Notice this one. Oh, thought I had back to back videos. Nope. I guess I didn't. So this is a really good streamline. If you don't have a streamline like this, you're wasting energy. Let's see what he does here. He's got a great turnaround too. You want to see a turnaround? Do that. Yeah, he's doing his pullouts on this one. He just has a good pullout too, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, he has a yeah, okay. So he does another lap here without the pullout. And so that lap was 42 seconds. This lap is also 42 seconds. So for him, the pullout doesn't make him faster, but it doesn't make him slower either. And that's something you have to figure out when you're doing the CSS is does this breaststroke pullout make you faster or does it just get you winded and make you slower? Because here's the problem. You get one fewer breath per length, fewer breaths per lap if you do the breaststroke pullout for the same number of strokes. So there you go. It's a good debate to have, but you got to figure it out. You don't need to do a breaststroke pullout. You can though, but if you're looking for CSS critiques, you can see that's all I do over on TikTok. And if you don't like the TikTok app, you can always go over to the Instagram app and see a whole bunch of them there on the Reels section, like right down here. You can see this. You can see there's a bunch of TikTok Reels, but there's a little other ones too, um, not just swimming. There's a few others you got to sift through, but the TikTok one's all CSS. But I got a whole bunch of them over here too. So if you don't like that, that's me and my mom when I was 18. Me and my wife. So anyway, you got to sift through a whole bunch of other things besides swimming over here, but you can see it's mostly swimming. So there you go. All right. So don't see any more questions. You guys got any questions? I got to sign off here in a second. Like my shirt, lift heavy, pet dogs. I got wrecked with flu over Christmas. Yeah, man, it's going around. I've heard people will like start off with flu, then they get COVID, and then they're sick for like 2 months. Um, what's a recommended reload after being sick? I slept a ton, got really tight. I would start off with mobility days. I wouldn't even start lifting yet. In fact, I would do a series of what I call systems checks just to make sure you're not going to do too much too soon. You get a relapse, you start coughing again, feeling crappy. So read this article here. It's called Perform a Systems Check After Long Bouts with Illness, Injury, or Not Training. But it's very similar to my mobility day. However, it has you um, doing other exercises besides stretching and mobility. Like you'll do an upper body circuit for like 5 minutes. You'll go for 5 minutes on the cardio. See how high you can get your heart rate before you start feeling bad or coughing. That's something when I developed this article and system, I had bronchitis. And I realized because of the systems check that I could go do some weights, I could go do some calisthenics as long as I didn't get my heart rate up to like 120. Then, um, if I did get my heart rate up to 120, I'd start coughing, my throat hurt, just the bronchial tubes, it just hurt to cough. You didn't want to do that. So I had to keep my heart rate down. So even though I thought I was well, I couldn't get up to over 120 for another week. Then I was finally better and able to do it. But just knowing that made me kind of more conscious with how I did my training. Yeah, I was able to lift. I did some 5x5s, rested a little bit in between versus doing some active rest. And that was a great way for me to kind of get back into it. So, yeah, you'll read my story in that, but if you'll see that article right there, works really well. Give it a shot. You might only need it for 2 or 3 days, and then you're back to 100%. As long as you don't have any lingering effects. Like I have found that anything that's respiratory will affect you longer term than stomach bug or some bacterial infection or something like that. Something you can take antibiotics for and you're done. But if you're still coughing and your lungs are congested, that's going to elevate your heart rate. That's going to make you cough more. It just kind of sucks. So, but it is life, and we got to learn to deal with it and learn to be good patients and be patient, so that we can heal a little faster. All right. So, folks, thanks for sticking around for this special Thursday um, Q&A session. I may actually start doing, instead of Monday, Tuesday, I may start doing them Tuesday, Thursdays, just because my Monday is real busy. I usually have a big article I have to have done by Monday, and I got other stuff I'm catching up on from the weekend. Um, so I may actually start doing Tuesday, Thursdays. So if you don't see me on a Monday, just know I will be here Tuesday and I will be here Thursday if I don't do a Monday. So for right now, 9:30 Monday and Tuesday. However, I'm debating about making a change this year. I want to get some maybe your consideration into it as well, and if you guys have a preference. So, all right, guys. Until next Monday, I'll be back on. I will see you later. You guys have a good one. Oh, go to StuSmithFitness.com. If you've stuck around this long, Live 1.5 saves you 15% on anything. You can buy programs like this if you're wanting to go Air Force Special Ops. You can do that calisthenics and cardio workout. If you're going Coast Guard, this was a great lift cycle right here that just helped a lot of people keep crushing the PST. And then they also got stronger, put on about 10 pounds of mass while they were at it. It was a good winner for us. So made it a program. All right, folks, that's it with me. You guys have a good one. I'll see you next week.